Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I want to show you guys how I made this beautiful cake. We don't have a big intro, so let's get right to it. Alright, so right away we are cutting the crust off of the layer cake. This is something that I grew on to doing in the beginning. When I was making cakes, I was a little scared to do this because I thought it would make my cake look uneven, but now I'm a little bit more comfortable doing it, so I do it more often now. And then here is my simple syrup, which is basically half water and half sugar. So you pretty much do like a 1-to-1 ratio with that. I'll show you guys in my next video. If you want to see it, just let me know. But once I do the simple syrup, then I coat that first layer in a lot of buttercream. And the reason why I use so much is because I want my cake to be very sturdy. And I want my cake to sit up nice and high. So I always add a lot of frosting in the middle. That is optional. You know, you can use a lot less, but I like it thick, honey. Okay, so this part here is completely optional, but what I like to do while I'm stacking cakes is to round out the edges and put some frosting on those edges of the cake, because that really helps to keep the cake sturdy. You know, when you stack that second layer, that's added weight to the cake, and sometimes it could smush your buttercream. So that's why I always add more buttercream than I actually need, and I always coat the edges around the cake. So now we're stacking, and do you see how sturdy that cake is? It's going nowhere at all. It has nowhere to go. And then once again, we're going to go in with a very thick layer of buttercream, and as you can see, I'm eventually going to bring it down. Okay, there she goes. So I'm going to be bringing it down a little bit to cover the sides of the cake. This makes an easy crumb coat. You know, you can just do this and then you can skip having to actually frost it, you know, in a crumb coat, because it's already there. It's already made. So it's 2 for 1. That's how I do my cakes, you know. So yeah, I'm smoothing out those sides, and then we're going to do our third layer, which is the final layer, and we're going to wet that thing up with some simple syrup and stack it up, and just look how much better. Like, you see, if I didn't put frosting all over the edges of the cake, it would be moving a lot more and it wouldn't be as stiff and sturdy. So that's just my preference, guys. So while we're here, I just want to tell you guys, I have been making cakes for all about 3 years. I started making cakes in 2020, and it's been a really beautiful journey for me. I have learned so much, and I have learned a lot from YouTube and TikTok. But honestly, cake making is trial and error. It is something that if you want to take it on, you can't think that you're going to be a perfect cake baker the first day or the second day or even 3 years later. You know, sometimes I disappoint myself because I say, oh, well, it's fine. You know, the cake is going to be fine. And then I say, oh, you know what, the cake didn't come out how I wanted. So it's just very important to stick to what you know, and also take your time. You know, there's such a rush nowadays to produce, but I really think that taking your time creates the best cakes. So nowadays for me, I only get to make about 5-6 cakes tops a month, and for me that's perfect. You know, compared to when I was making, you know, maybe 20 cakes in a month, you could see the quality, the difference in the quality and the difference in the flavors and everything. So now I make less cakes, and I think it's so much better because the quality has gone up, honey. The price is up, baby. Okay, so I was talking about the prices up. But anyways, let's get back to the work. So if you can see, I am smoothing out my crumb coat. This is a gorgeous crumb coat, and I didn't have to work too much for it, okay? So what I do now is I wrap my cake completely. And sometimes I overdo it. I'm very wasteful when it comes to this paper, but I love it. I'm addicted to this. And I wrap those cakes, girl. I wrap. I'm a rapper. I am a rapper. Okay? All right, so no more joking around. At this point, I like to stick something inside of the cake, meaning a straw. And honestly, you don't have to do this, but I find that when I make a hole in any part of the cake, it helps the cake from having air bubbles. And sometimes if the cake doesn't have like a release for all of that air, it can create bubbles in your final product. So make sure that you always pin the cake with a little hole somewhere in the cake. Okay? All right, so if by any chance you are wondering, at this point I am trying to find the right color for this cake. So the picture that was sent to me, it looked gray. The cake looked gray, the cake looked purple, it looks blue. So I just asked my girlfriend, like, what color is it? And she said, well, it looks gray, but it also looks purple. So I was like, well, I'm gonna go with a gray purple. And that's what I did. So I do apologize. My phone died when I was doing the final coat on the cake, and I will upload another video showing you guys how to just cover the cake in buttercream, the final coat. But for now, we're gonna keep it moving, guys. So I have my fondant. I am coloring the fondant, girl. All right, so once I found the perfect shade of pink, I went ahead and made the little ball shapes. And then now I'm making some lines with one of these fondant tools. That's what they're called on Amazon. They call them fondant tools. I have no idea what you call this. If you're a baker, please let me know. But anyway, so I'm going in with the little knife and I'm making some lines to try to make this look like a real pumpkin. As realistic as I can, you know. Okay, so for me, it was important to do all of the pumpkins, right? And when I finished everyone, I went and picked it up again and I did more lines. So this is the first batter. Like, this is, everything is a batter to me. I'm sorry. But this is the first batch, like the lines, right? Me doing the lines for the first time. And this is the second time. So it's very important that you go over them twice because it will give you a nice line that's deep enough to fit a brush. So you want your brushes to be able to fit through those cracks. I mean, you can get a very small brush, but just look at how small the brush that I'm using is. So just, to avoid a headache, just go ahead and do the lines twice so that you can paint them nice and easy and it comes out pretty and clean. But anyways, now we're going to make the stems, and I tested out some pieces of pretzels and I really like the pretzels. Like, it looks so cute. So I kept that, and then I put some glitter on them just because, like a little bit of luster does, just to make them match, I guess, with the pumpkin. I don't know. You don't really have to do that. But anyways, now we are painting some flowers. So I bought some fabric flowers because I couldn't find any orange flowers for this cake. So since there was enough white flowers in the package, I decided to just dip them in a mixture of tequila and food coloring, and I let them dry and they came out really good. Like, the color stood on there pretty good, it took the color. So anyways, this is another dilemma right here. The glitter glaze, guys, I don't really know how to make a gold cake drip. This is like my first gold cake drip that looked okay, but I still didn't love the color. But anyways, that's another conversation. As you can see now, like I told you guys, I apologize. I skipped the part where I put this frosting on the cake. But right now I am just smoothing things out to make sure that I have a nice, plain, fresh canvas for this cake. And I really love the final look. Like, the cake could have been a little bit smoother, right? But I feel like if I did that, I would be risking it. And I didn't want to risk anything. And the fact that I was going to put things on top of the cake just made me feel like it doesn't matter if it's perfect. So it's up to you. But I don't break my head with these cakes. I don't. But anyways, so now I'm adding this gold leaf. And what I do is you just use a little wet brush. The wet brush helps it stick to the brush. And when you put it down, it also helps it not stick to the brush. It's weird. But anyways, here is the drip. This drip is beautiful, gorgeous, amazing, but it is not the gold that we think we're going to get when we buy this. So just keep that in mind. If you see the bottle, just keep it in mind that you might have to, mix your own colors or add some luster dust to give you like a brighter look. I was reading about mixing a little bit of blue to cancel something out, but y'all, I don't know. And I think it's just like the shampoo, like when you use blue shampoo to cancel out like all the amber. So I think that's what the guy was saying, but I was not gonna do that. So I just did the drip with the color. Overall, it looks gorgeous. You can tell it is gold. It's just not the gold I was looking for, but it is what it is, guys. It still matches the luster dust. It matches everything. It looks amazing. So at this point, my recording was pretty awful. But
But I'm just placing all the decorations on the cake at this point, so there's not really much to talk about. And I want to let you guys know my videos are not really tutorials right now, because I need a lot of time to really give you guys step-by-step tutorials. But if you want those, you have to let me know, because I don't know what to post on here. So just keep me posted. Let me know what you want to see, so that I can go ahead and make all of that and show you guys everything you want to learn about baking. And I'm just a free spirit baker. I follow nobody's rules, and I don't break my head about anything. I just work at my own pace. I like to learn, and I like to experiment. And I love the feeling of trying something new, stepping out of the box, and not stressing. You see how I painted those orange flowers? Look how pretty. Now, could you imagine if I would have stressed and been shopping, looking around all the stores to get those orange flowers? I would have made myself a mess. So I just letting you know, don't make yourself a mess over these cakes, because the internet makes you feel like you have to be a perfect baker all the time. But it's not like that in real life. So be patient and be kind to yourself. Baking cakes is like one of the best things that happened to my life, and I love it. Thank you guys for watching.